Welcome to Kylie's akhamoth reading. This will be the last reading for a while now because we're concentrating on lab classes, and also sessions for now. But anyway, so to Kylie's reading. These are toolkit readings, and when we do toolkit, we're going to be doing those in the classes anyway. The toolkit readings are so that I'm not telling you about yourself, but I'm helping you find different nodes and layers and zip files, all those words that might resonate with you. And so it's kind of like you're a little book that you didn't even know that you have those pages, and I'm like, look at this page, look. So that's kind of what these are and what I do anyway for everything. So when we talk about this, I'm going to first talk about, before we talk about akhamoth, we're going to talk about the layers of the way we see things and what those layers all are as well, because that's going to help with when we get into the other parts. So, and I'm going to talk about the images a little bit in the back, hopefully. If not, I'm going to send it in a PDF to Kylie. So, there are layers that are very normal for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people will think that that's their normal and they are not aware of it. This is like big stuff that's come in for me that are, it seems a bit obvious and you'll probably be like, what? Of course. So the way humans see, and the sometimes because it's one way, like, you know, we have like one like little tunnel vision and we naturally see in a certain way. We have to work on seeing those other layers. So the ones that people naturally see are what I call a myth kind of symbolic layer. And then there's the mechanics layer. And then the next layer is kind of the mechanics, but more about like architectural. Sorry, that's before that. So that's what, and it's not really before, it's just that's kind of how they work together. And then humans, all of us, are very familiar with the patchwork quilt that I talk about. So these are all the things humans have created. So it's a mix of what we think history is, creative things, anything that, someone puts together like from different things. So those layers are very real. They're real. Like, they're not just like ways to see, because everything's so bigger than what we think, right? So when we are talking or seeing or engaging with certain things, it's really nice to know, like, obviously we come from those things too. That's another thing, but we're not going to talk about that with here. It's really nice to know that, because then you know which one you're operating with and which one to engage with. So right now, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'm going to do a lot of content about this in my, where, to look. If you don't, just message in the comments. But yeah, so anyway, I want to do that quick. So this is, so Kylie has, when I talked about Dark, Sophia, and akhamoth, this is the symbolic mythic layer. So again, it's very real. It's not just how we see things, but it's also a real thing. Like, they're beings, like, basically. And so, but it's more complicated than just like directly saying they're beings. So when you're engaging with this kind of stuff, humans really, if they're talking about something so abstract, the only way to understand the mechanics or the bigger parts of creation about themselves is through this mythic symbolic layer. Even me, because I found out that I'm really into mechanics and things like that. I didn't know that. I was doing it already. Even me, the way I learn about the things that I love, which are mechanics, which is how things work, energetically, bigger picture stuff, is through those stories. So I've been working on a personal project now that is all about looking at all the stories and myth and symbols that I've gathered and putting that into mechanics. And so I help people in sessions find those symbols and make it make sense in their life. So it's kind of like a mixture of those two layers, the patchwork quilt layer and then the mythic layer, and then your human life, like stuff you can touch layer, like the stuff you make and do, right? So I help people in that area. When people want to, I will help them go in those other areas too, because sometimes those are helpful. So I just wanted to catch everyone up for that. It is part of a toolkit thing. This is very important to know when you're engaging with any of my practicing with energies, the series that you can see on my page. and just anything I talk about, because a lot of people struggle with this because they're like, this isn't true or whatever, and that gets in the way of something that's an opportunity for them to see something about themselves or to help their life, right? So anyway, so back to akhamoth. Now we're at the half point. So akhamoth would be on the symbolic mythic layer, and obviously she represents something in all those layers. There's all these versions, right? And so it also has to do with the human stuff too. So the things that people wrote down, like when you read about Dark Sophia, there's not too much. If you just look up Dark Sophia or you look up akhamoth, they have different spellings of akhamoth. Those are the patchwork quilt layer. Now, if you're getting these messages, Kylie had something where she had an experience in her heart. She remembered something in her childhood. These are when you're engaging with the symbolic mythic layer. So when you are engaging with that, it means that there's going to be a story, or there's going to be things like synchronicities, colors, and things like that. If you're drawn to wear dark lipstick, I mean, obviously that's generic. Things that are special to you, remembering your childhood things that you didn't get to do, all that stuff. Okay, so that is to get you in the mood. And it's up to you how deep you get into that mood, right? You might wear clothes like that. You might start watching old movies that that you watched when you were a teenager, those kind of things. That's to get you in the mood and to get more information that you're already going to get anyway. By the way, when I talk about these things, this is what's happening naturally to us all the time. But when you become sensitive, meaning like aware, the more aware you become, like how Kylie is aware, you start to feel these things. You start to go, oh my God, my body is like, my heart is like feeling so open, and it's feeling like this ache. It's feeling, and it's a good ache. It's like, I want to know more. I want to blah, blah, blah. All of that. And all of this always is to get to know you inside, your internal world, your architecture of what you have built and always build all the time within, right? Okay, so there's a huge story. It is on my, I'm just going to say P. Have a look. If you want to know where you can learn more about the actual story that is taking place, I can direct you to where that is. But yeah, just ask me. I think Kylie probably by now has watched it. If not, you're going to have fun. It's going to be really good. So I want to just say enough. Okay, so I'm not going to say the whole story, but there is a thing that happens with light and etheria is in the boundary of creation. And I called it the infinite ring because it is still infinity, but it's a boundary, and it's, like I said, I know more now than I knew before, which is very exciting always. In that boundary, she and light are connected because it's the same being, but basically what happens is she gets, she leaves and it rips apart. And so all this stuff starts happening. Light keeps making things, and as light makes stuff, all this pieces keep falling off. Nyx is another, again, this is mythic symbolic versions. Nyx basically starts stitching them all on her, and she just keeps going. She never returns to the border, right? And so Etheria finally finds a way through their connection where they ripped apart and pushes her into this void that leaked. And when that happens, they reunite. I'm just being really quick. They reunite, and they find out that, okay, actually, so the reuniting, I might not be able to talk about these. I'm running out of time. And these are all the little pieces, and this is them reuniting as well, becoming one. They become akhamoth. The reason why she is Sophia as well is because Sophia is a baby light anyway, and there's more to it. So when you're in this phase and you're getting these things, yes, they have to do with your story sometimes, like so much, but it also is helping you with what you're working on right now. And so in this sense, there's a lot going on with this with Kylie. And when she explores this storyline, that's when you actually can talk to those beings, and it's a job role. So those beings are energies that go inside those, and they're like librarians. I know this is mythic. I'm talking in a mythic symbolic layer. There's mechanics involved in it as well, but we're talking that way because that's what this is about. And yeah, so all these little swirly things and stuff like that, that's snipping them and letting them free. So that is kind of what is going on when she speaks to akhamoth. It's this vibe, and you're getting in the mood. Follow your mood. Follow the things you want to wear. Follow the things that you're surrounding yourself by, and you'll do it yourself. Like there's no wrong way to do it. So have fun, Kylie.